Hello degenerates and welcome back! We finally have our mom right here! Maxwell Ordinary Mechanic, aka Mom. Now, she's a pretty nice character. I've been enjoying her. We've just been testing it a little bit. As usual, this is an Omega dirty and quick test. Don't take it as a final review because it's not, okay? These videos are just first impressions. That's it. Let's talk a little bit about her, if it's worth pulling for her or not right now. A little bit on where she can be used and what teams you can cope to slot her in. And then my priority that I would give players currently. That's it. Let's jump into this directly to not waste too much time. A couple things on Maxwell before we go into this. I was testing on a different account because my Laplace didn't get good lines. So we were testing on an account from Grie, and he has Laplace with 83% elemental, 45 attack, which was pretty good, and we could compare on neutral with some of the other girls as well. Sadly, obviously, the Libraria doesn't have good lines here, only 1944 for elemental attack, but it is what it is. And then his SBS is not filled, so we could not compare there. That's it. We've been testing on Mirror Container for Electric Waifus, on Babu Museum as well for normal win teams, and then just Union Range for some of the quick tests themselves. A few things is that, as usual, you don't care what line she gets as a general rule of thumb. For most people, you will not care because she's a support character, so you can ignore everything, right? You can just ignore and just get basic rolls out of the way, so she will work. Another thing is that I have issues going past 777 because she's a character that, yes, will increase the damage of Laplace quite a bit. Yes, will increase the damage of any HP-based character, but the percentages are kind of bad. So we're talking about a character that if I go into Maxwell and we go here, skill 1 goes from like a 0.84 and 875 to a 10% 1%. It's an increase, but it's kind of expensive for most people to justify unless you are a win main or you really love Laplace and want to use it as your main character, right? Like in that case, yeah, but for most people, skill 1 is level 7. Same thing happens on a skill 2. Where on a skill 7 you're getting a 0.84 here, and then the only thing that you would be carrying the rest is this, because you only care about this attack if you are going to be building her as a DPS. If you care building her as a DPS, then it's an extra 5% attack up to 5 stages, which is great. If you're using it as a support, the level 7 is more than enough. Like it's not a lot of a scaling in here. Now, this is still does Laplace and makes Laplace and Cinderella do more damage, alright? So it is a good skill, but Omega expensive just for like, what, 0.2%, less than 0.2%, kind of expensive. And then when it comes to her burst, same thing. If you want more damage on herself as a DPS, you level this up, but most people will be using her just for the effect of allies attack damage. 20% on level 7, it's a 25% at level 10. So it's not a lot of return for how expensive it is to bring it to level 10. I don't think I will be going past level 777 for most people. I went to level 4 here because I was like, do I want to be running her a little bit more or not? I think I'm going to be using her on raids, so I might take her to 777 because I do like Laplace quite a bit. So I will probably end up running both of them, but I don't think I would go any higher at all. When it comes to cubes, there is a few things for both Laplace and Maxwell, because people are saying to run the bigger cube. The biggest problem is if you have it leveled up or not, nothing else, right? If you have it leveled up, it is an option and it will increase their damage output, at least for Lapchan. But it's, you know, for most people, if you have your Resilience or Bastion, it is harder to justify bringing a bigger cube. But again, it depends on team composition, it depends on 1,000 different things. That's it. Out of the way, right? We got pretty lucky, 2 multis for 1 copy, so we can start saving for the collab now. And now let's move into some of the comparisons. So we can start with Union Range. I was just doing one simple test on my account, which, by the way, this is still really good. This is still a Laplace that is 2 copies only, 1 attack, 3 elemental, doing 5.4 versus my, my strongest character in my account, SBS, doing 10 builds. So like this is still really good, considering the difference in combat power and considering the difference on investment as well. And then we moved into Grievel account. So we did in Union Range a neutral test right here with Maxwell and without Maxwell. So same team. Anis is benefiting Rappi a lot in here. Still, we go on Laplace herself from 1.3 to 1.1. It does not drop that much. If you compare putting Maxwell or putting Clone for Rappi, the difference is huge. But for Laplace herself, or any HP character, it's not such a big drop. I mean, we're still going, you know, it's still losing damage, but it's not such a big drop. Being able to compete as a B2 with the strongest characters is great. It's always great. So that's something pretty nice. And then we're just checking on Wind Wig, but this is a Liberalio that's, again, not super invested in terms of like the lines versus Laplas. So it's still doing pretty good, but could be better, could be better. And then removing her, like I was saying, we go with Crown on Elemental Advantage on this team. We go from 2.3 to 2.8, which again, fully invested Crown, in contrast to Maxwell getting basic rolls, and then Lapchan, pretty well invested Lapchan, losing damage, but still pretty nice results, considering this is a normal B2 that is not even limited. Okay, this is a non-limited B2 that will be buffing any character that can scale with HP. The problem when we're talking about HP is that there is not a lot of characters you can actually run and be buffing. It's gonna be your 2B, your ultimate hero, and it's going to be your Cinderella, right? And then it's going to be also Rose, my Ice Rose, there it is. Maiden, Ice, Rose. So those three characters, ignoring Cinderella on the middle, ignoring the Summer Cindy, right? Those four characters right there, three, counting is hard. Those four characters are the ones that can actually benefit from someone like this. And 2B is Omega Copium. I don't know if there is anyone else who scales with HP. Please let me know in the comments. If I forgot, I'll probably forget a couple. But it's pretty hard to slot her anywhere else. So honestly, my recommendation would not even to be pulling on Maxwell at the moment. If you can only pull for one character right now, I would just grab instead Laplace herself, because it's an actual good DPS. But when it comes to Maxwell, even though it's a good buffer, the limited amount of characters she can be slot in, it's a bit harder to justify that pull. Still though, attack damage is universal. You can put this anywhere and will work, but obviously you cannot benefit from the rest of the kit, right? That's it. Mirror Container for Electric Team on Cinderella, Babu for just more Laplace on Wind Wig. For Mirror Container, we did not clear with Maxwell, expected, but still pretty close. Neon Diet with 10 seconds left, alright, so that was like 10 seconds left only. And then if we go to compare the damage, as you guys can see, Cindy is doing more with Maxwell. And this is not even like the most optimized team here, because we're not running the other HP buffers. You could be running Rogue, you could be running now Flora as well. You could be running anyone who increases HP for these characters and get even higher damage output. So there is a nice HP scaling team or HP stacking team, whatever you want to be calling it, that we might be able to start running and start seeing on some raids, right? So Cindy doing better here with Maxwell than with Crown. Obviously, just a reference on Mirror Container. And then for Modernia Museum, with Crown, 1.9 on Laplace, with Nayuta, 1.7, still doing really good damage with Nayuta herself, and with Maxwell, 1.7 as well. So almost the same as running Nayuta, and almost the same as running Crown. For again, non-Pilgrim, non-limited B2, pretty good. And also the investment being lower than the other girls as well. I'm not sure how much damage output she might be able to get. Maxwell speaking here, not Laplace. Maybe she might be able to be doing decent damage, but obviously that depends on how lucky you are and how many rocks you are willing to use and waste. To me, I would recommend building her as a support. And again, like I said, I would not even pull for her. I think the move right now is to pull for Laplace, skip Maxwell, and save for the collab. If you care about the collab, if you don't care about Persona, by all means, go grab both. They are good characters, alright? I'm not sure if I want to move Laplace up on the tier list to tier 1 or not. Honestly, she could start at the spot. She's a fantastic character. Even in campaigns, she's been doing really well. We'll see. Waiting for a little bit more before people keep testing and we can see more results, because I don't have campaign left myself. That's it, honestly. Once again, I would 100% pull for a copy of Lapchan, and I would skip Maxwell unless you do not care about Persona or you have enough tickets for the Persona collab. If you don't care about Persona, by all means, skip them. I would suggest always grabbing a copy, even if you are not like an Omega fan of the IP, just for collection, because gacha games, you know, it's always nice getting those collab characters that in most situations will never come back, in most situations, unless it's Evangelion and we are getting yet another Evangelion collab next year. That's it. That's basically everything for this one, honestly, for the first impressions on Maxwell. For our MOMM Maxwell, I'm pretty happy with both characters. I thought they were gonna be like weaker when they were announced. I was like, oh, this is gonna be like a filler banner that's gonna be like useless. But no, Laplace is really strong. Maxwell can be slotted into raid, so pretty happy. If I have to talk shit right now and think where I would put her on the tier list, I think Maxwell might be a T3, T2 character, most likely leaning towards T3 than T2, and then Laplace probably can't end up being a tier 1 instead of a tier 2 character, even on neutral content and even on campaign and normal tower, right? So pretty happy with both of them. Good units, non-limited, so for a lot of you it's fine to not grab them right now, but if you can afford to get the Funko head right here, look at this big ass head, bro. It's so stupid. Like, look at this big ass head, this Funko girl. If you guys can get the Funko, I will suggest getting her because she's pretty strong and she's pretty cute as well. So that's it. That's everything for this first impressions of Maxwell. And for the full build, in a couple of days, whenever we finish testing, I'll make an updated tier list video, also going over both Maxwell and Laplace final verdict. That's it. As usual, live almost every single day. Link in the description down below. Good luck with your pool, nader rates, and I'll see you on the next one.